Hey, welcome to Line War. In this game we have Hawk as Reds, who has picked one of the ocean parts for the energy early on for his starting location. He is versus Imphenzia, who is blue, and he started right on the edge of the map, which most players don't recommend, but because this is mostly ocean, there's not a lot of territory to grab in the center of the map, so eco is going to be more important. And he's claimed pretty much 2 cities right at the beginning. He hasn't got the industry up yet, but he has built towns. He's going for submarines, and it looks like a transport ship there. Getting some docks up as well. I assume he's going to do that over here there. Let's have a look at Hawk. Hawk is pretty much going the same, but he's invested a bit more into the industries over here. But he does have trade routes almost available already. I'd assume this would be one of his primary targets to obtain. But he is definitely going over here first. With more land there, it probably is more viable to start there and then move over there a bit later on. With Imphenzia, he is trying to get the transports because he's pretty much colonized this whole area already. And he's going to send his submarines up there to try and claim this territory. Which makes sense, it's got the energy for him, and he doesn't have any energy on the ground. So he's going to be relying on energy in the ocean, which means he's going to need to defend them. Whereas with Hawk, he doesn't have any energy to start with. He's got some energy in the ocean, but he is between the enemy and his energy supply. So the enemy will have to destroy him before going for the energy or go around him. So it'll be harder for Imphenzia, the developer of the game, to take out the energy of Hawk. But Hawk should be able to just generally push him back into the energy supply. Probably why Imphenzia is going for the one up north straight away. He's got his single transport ship yet, and he's going over here. Probably for the trade routes, just like I suggested with Hawk. So he is going to be trying to utilize the trade routes. He's already got his dock up and ready straight away on both of them. They are currently being built, and he is going to try and go straight across over to here. Hawk is expanding backwards because he doesn't know where Imphenzia is right now. This is all he can see. He's getting his energy up already, so he's a bit further ahead in energy than Imphenzia is. Imphenzia is still waiting on the submarine to get to this location. But he's got to be careful because he's using the transport right now, which is using up his energy. And if he uses up all his energy before he can get here, he'll have to go into power. Oh, he's already gone into power plants. It doesn't matter. He's aware of that situation. I was wondering if he'd actually run out of energy before he could gather it. Hawk is going for the other 2 energy wells, so he should be ahead of Imphenzia when it comes to energy, and therefore may be able to attack first if he finds him. But for now he's just going to try and expand to these other locations. He probably knows where Imphenzia is, because he was either expecting the middle section or the section over here. They're the only 2 real viable slots when it comes to eco at the beginning. The Hawk has 3 naval yards already, but he has no submarines. Imphenzia has 2 naval yards and 1 subpan. So on production they're about equal, but they've chosen different ideas. Got cruisers and submarines with transport ships around as well. Whereas Hawk is going for missile ships. Yes, these are missile ships there, and just transport ships. Transports and missiles. And by the looks of it, he's only building missile ships. He hasn't got anything else being produced right now. I assume he might be expecting a 3 airfield start, especially on island maps. But I don't think it would work on this map. It's too far away to reach the lands. So I'd probably be expecting the naval assault, but it's always good to prepare for anti-air at any point anyway. Imphenzia has now progressed to this island, this mountain island. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets the docks up on here as soon as it's possible, because that'll boost his economy really well. He's already got a trade route here to begin with, which I don't think Hawk has. No. Both of these, even if he had them up as docks, they would have to go over here to get the trade route economy, because they're not joined to each other by themselves. So I'd say Imphenzia has the advantage in economy and Hawk has the advantage in energy. And if you're enjoying these videos, guys, I've changed my Discord up a bit. So I've got a line wall section in my Discord. The link is in the top of the description. And I will be trying to post the videos up there as well. Feel free to go check it out and let me know that you're there. Scouring the map, he's got trade routes set up already. He's got the trade ships. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. I'm going to call them trade ships. And this one will be producing it soon, I'm sure. But Imphenzia is low on energy. He's only got one space for it, and he can't build any more unless he builds power plants. Well, more power plants. But he is going for this one. That's his next target. It shouldn't be too much of a problem this early on in the game. But if Hawk decided to go towards Imphenzia, that might actually be a problem for Imphenzia to fight him off. But I think Hawk is just focused on expanding right now. And at this point, he should know that Imphenzia is to the east. Trying to set up some more economy in the north. He's pretty much taken all the territory. All he's got left is this island over here and this tiny little bit over here. I don't know if this counts. I think that's out of bounds. I am wondering, he maybe should have sent some more units over here. So he can capture the territory just that little bit faster. But he is sending some ships towards Imphenzia. What's Imphenzia's view like right now? He won't even notice this yet. So he is being a bit slow progress, but he's being a lot smarter about his progress. I think they didn't decide on the beginning part because Hawk went for the middle section, like most players would. However, Imphenzia saw the advantage of the economy. I think that's why he instantly chose this area. Saw the advantage as soon as it came up. But they are actually travelling to the same spot. They're both going for this territory now, so we're going to have some contact soon. And Hawk is going to back it up with some units coming in now from two different directions. And some of it further behind. And Imphenzia only has 2 cruisers. Hawk has 2 transports and 2 missile ships. I'm not sure who has the advantage if we just leave it like this, but I'm pretty sure the cruisers would win this conflict without the reinforcements. There they are. He did claim the territory beforehand though. And all Hawk knows is there's just one right now. Hasn't sent any others. The Hawk just runs away. He knows that's a bad engagement as soon as he saw the second one. Oh, it's got a hole in it. Hawk is on the run. What is Imphenzia thinking while he is pushing forward? He doesn't seem concerned at all. He hasn't reinforced it with much, but he has submarines on the way in, which I don't think missile ships can detect. But he's built cruisers now. Should be working on destroyers. But he's definitely going for more ship production. And he does have the eco for it. He's got quite a good amount of eco. So Hawk is producing about 700 per minute. And Imphenzia is way up there because of his trade routes with 870. So Imphenzia has a higher economy, but he doesn't have as much production. Unless he's built some production elsewhere. And Imphenzia is going to stop this eco advantage with a trade route for Hawk over here. He's trying to expand long distance now. What's going on down? Oh, he's got an airfield there. Right in the mountains, so that's going to be quite well stealthed. if his ships do pass by. Oh, we got an engagement coming up. Hawk thinks he can take him on. Can he see that submarine? He can. I might have been thinking of it before the update, to be fair. He does have destroyers, maybe? I don't know. Unless they're just damaged missile ships. No, they're just missile ships, I think. Got one destroyer there. Imphenzia retreats. He's holding a line though, so he might be trying to call in reinforcements. No, he doesn't care. He's just leaving them out there. He's just going to control that line there and hold them back a bit. He's trying to protect his energy well. He doesn't want to leave that unguarded. What else is he thinking? He's building up some strikers down here. He's got another naval yard down there. He's still expanding over here. Holding the line, and Hawk does not want to continue that engagement. He's pulling back. And he is building up his forces a bit more before he engages on those cruisers. With that many cruisers from Imphenzia, I'd probably want to maybe go into a few sub-pens. Maybe just a couple. I think Hawk just wants to increase his economy so he can fight back a bit later. He's retaking this energy well that's being contested. He is still expanding though. It's always something you need to do. But I think he is pretty much almost there at conquering all the land that's available to him now. Though I don't know if he can cross this little pathway. I think it's too close to the black line. I want to check that in a minute and see. He's moving in. He can see the energy well now, even through the shroud. And he is pushing back those cruisers into more cruisers. Imphenzia has 5 cruisers and Hawk does not want to engage again. This is a bit of back and forth. Imphenzia really likes using these line commands in the water. Creates a little concave. He's moved it just slight curve so that you've got a bit more, I don't know what's called, field of view. When it hits their range all aligns and they can fire more at once. Strikers are building up over here. I'm assuming he's planning to attack this area. I think that's the range. And that will probably be quite harmful because he's got no land production on this island. But Hawk's army is quite substantial now. Wow, his navy. Quite substantial now. And I think Imphenzia would be in a bit of trouble there. Got a fair amount of submarines to support them though. Which is something Hawk lacks. And yeah, they can't fit through that gap there. They're a bit too chunky to get through that tiny little hole, so... He's going to actually have to use a transport ship to get across this land here. But he's trying to capture the territory, because each territory also amounts to some economy. It's not a lot, but with the amount of territories on most maps, it does add up to quite a lot in the end. Imphenzia has pretty much gathered all he can. I think he could get that territory if he tried. But these back ones are a bit easier to forget. Especially when your focus is on the front line. He's protecting this choke point, and he's got a transport behind here, so... he's definitely going to think about trying to move these across there. Oh, we have a potential engagement coming up over here. Imphenzia knows about it. He's readjusted his defense. These units are still over here. So he's got some storage over here for energy. He knows he's going to need some more later, and these might actually go down. If they go down, he'll still be able to keep the energy stored up over here. I'm surprised he's not moving these guys in yet, though. There we go. He's moving those guys in now. I think he didn't want to put the energy into it if they weren't actually going to attack. That's a pretty big engagement going on. So we got pretty much a bit of everything versus cruisers and submarines. You definitely want some supporting air units against this. Even if you did, I think Imphenzia has got a good go on that too. He could send his strikers up to support, but I don't think he needs to. And he doesn't want to reveal his air force yet. Those cruisers are tearing up the field there. Got some reinforcements coming in, but it's a little too late. Imphenzia has held the line quite well here, defending that energy well at all costs. It now has an extra energy well over here. And I'd say Imphenzia has a pretty good control over the ocean right now after this engagement. Let's check Hawk's side of view. Yep, Hawk is having to rethink his plans now. He's going to have to draw back. And he's got some more cruisers coming in now. But he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 naval yards producing units. But they're all in one area. It's actually not a bad area because Imphenzia would have to come through this small choke point. So even if he loses most units, defending here you wouldn't need so many numbers. Imphenzia's better plan would be to draw them out or to go round. And Imphenzia is bringing up the chase. He's on haste mode here, so he's going to use up more energy moving those forces. But he's going to be able to chase them down a lot faster. Oh, it looks like some activity down here. He's going to try and take over this land without Hawk noticing, but I think he's going to be spotted. Yeah, there's the engagement. Hawk can definitely see this now, but he hasn't got any production over here, so he's not going to easily be able to defend this. Even from a small army. And Imphenzia has some strikers over here. So he's going to be able to support his army quite well. Imphenzia's forces are a bit damaged here, but he's now being supported by the strikers that are coming in now. What is Imphenzia's plan with the strikers? He's set a circle target on the choke point, hoping to stop any reinforcements coming in and to support the offense going on up here. Imphenzia's forces were damaged at the beginning of this fight, so it could go either way. He has got some more units coming out, and he has about half of the production on this section than Hawk does, but he is building air units and some units down here. And at the beginning of the fight, we saw Hawk had a lot of anti-air ships anyway. And now he's switched into cruisers. Imphenzia is now attacking with the air units. Hawk must be feeling some pressure, even if he is winning this battle here. But he's definitely losing the ground battle on his second island at the beginning of the game. And he does have a town and 2 industries over here, so he's going to lose a lot of economy if he can't hold off this force. But he is trying to reinforce it from his main island without having to put any production structures down. So Hawk pretty much has control over everything. He may have forgotten about these units here, thinking they're going to capture that, but... And he could also have an energy well here, but I don't think he needs too much more energy. What he needs is more production, but he's got tons of production. I think he's got more production than Imphenzia does, but Imphenzia has just counted his units before seeing what he had. He predicted the opponent, and he predicted it well. The opponent's building anti-airships, but they're draining him one by one. And they just cut one single anti-air ship is not good enough to take on these 4 strikers. Well, 5. There's another one there. Hawk is having to pull back. Imphenzia has controlled his side of the ocean. And is taking less losses for it. He's even brought some artillery over. He's got one transport ship defending the land, but the submarines are going to tear it up pretty well. Trade ships look a bit weird when they're empty. It looks like we got another engagement. Hawk needs to change things up, maybe try and attack in different locations. Instead of just attacking the army, try and go round them. Split his forces up into sort of miniature forces and try to break up Imphenzia's main squad. Probably up north because of the air units down in the south. But he definitely wants to bring some more land units down here. What's Imphenzia doing? He's got another naval yard up here. And a sub-pen, so he's got 2 more production there. 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, and then the aircraft. And he's got ground production too. But Imphenzia's economy is 1,400 at this point, with the trade routes occupied. Many trade routes now. Against Hawk's 1,100, so it is giving him a hell of a lot more economy. Despite the fact that Hawk has about 11 naval yards. Imphenzia is still able to hold him off, with a higher economy and maybe better positioning in the ocean. There you go, the strikers are taking on the town down here, while the naval fleets are having a battle up here. There must be a lot of management going on from Hawk and Imphenzia, trying to control all of this chaos at the same time. It looks like Hawk is taking advantage of the ocean right now. He's got a good line up here, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hold it off too long. If those strikers get pulled back and caught up here, he is very vulnerable to the air units right now. It looks like Imphenzia is going to pull back. But he's drawing him into more fire, I think. Got some more ships coming in up there. Let's see Imphenzia's side of things for a bit. He's got them all coming in now. He's got a line set up again. This concave that's drawing more fire in on the enemy lines. And what are his strikers doing right now? They're going up here. He's got the air units to come in to help support this army. And it looks like Imphenzia is going to control this island if Hawk doesn't do anything about it soon. And Hawk has the eco to do it, so I'm not sure what's going on here. And it looks like Imphenzia is chasing down Hawk right now with strikers and his navy force. There's some pretty vulnerable territory if you want to take some economy off of Hawk. I didn't spot why this one's on fire. Has he got a submarine there? He does, yes. Hawk can't see it yet because submarines are stealthed. But he can see the effect it's having, so he sent something out to check it. So Imphenzia has his main force, but he's also doing some covert missions as well during the game. So that's how Imphenzia is splitting up his management. Oh, there's some attacks going on up in the north. I didn't see that. He's got some helicopters. So Imphenzia has been launching some attacks with some helicopters up here to take out the economy of Hawk some more. So Imphenzia has been defending mostly, trying to get the best trades when it comes to the fights. But he's also sent off some mini missions to try and chip away at Hawk whilst this has been happening. Imphenzia has the least numbers here, so he may have the advantage trying to hold this line. Stuck in the choke point. But at this point it is kind of just a time game for Imphenzia. The longer Imphenzia waits, the longer he wins. Faster he wins. You know what I mean. If he can take out this island, he can take out these shipyards over here, and that weakens Hawk's production just that much more. The strikers are coming back in. Oh, he's got an airstrip right there. That is right on the front lines. That's risky. But Imphenzia has held this island for quite a long time now. I think he's willing to accept that risk. This fight's going to go push further into it. Imphenzia's going to retreat a little. So I would have tried to hold this line a bit like this, but a lot closer in. Because his ships are going to get stuck trying to go through this little gap way, and you'd be able to fire it a lot more at the same time, because Imphenzia has the least amount of numbers. But I think Imphenzia's main objective right now is to take out these production yards. And Hawk has just rebuilt his energy well, and despite that the shroud is covering it, Imphenzia, as I can still see it. We got a little battle going on up here, which Imphenzia has definitely taken out a lot of Hawk's economy. But Imphenzia also has like 2,000 saved up. He could be spending that elsewhere too. He's obviously spending it on his naval fleets, but he could build some more land-based production. He could build some more air units to back up his future stuff. I think that's also why he built this airstrip, so his aircraft move over here and he can start producing again over here. Yeah, so Hawk brought over some artillery to try and stop this attack, but the strikers are now taking them out because he hasn't built any SAM units. And it looks like Imphenzia is going all out now on that land, trying to take it out, while Hawk is trying to take out the ocean. And at this point, it might just be a base trade for a while. Imphenzia has been successful on the land missions, but Hawk looks like he's doing very well in the ocean now. He's pushing Imphenzia right back, and his energy, as I stated at the beginning, is unprotected really. If Hawk can take out the naval fleet, that is. Which Imphenzia is very good at protecting. He knows how to set up his lines. To be fair, he's been playing it longer than any of us, so he should be right now. Trying to keep an eye on everything that's going on here. I can't even spread the camera out enough, I don't think. So we got the naval fleet going on up here. He's concaved these lines, just for the same reason I said earlier, for the line of sight, targeting them all, having more ships hitting at the same points. And down here we've got the aircraft are now actually attacking these transport ships. And these production structures are smoking now, so they're taking damage, and soon they won't exist. And when that happens, Imphenzia will be able to push back and take control over the sea once again. So Hawk really needs to try and defend this land. Or build more production. To be fair, he's got a lot of economy as well, but he hasn't got much. Actually, he doesn't have much economy. He's got much capital, but he hasn't got a lot of economy. He's taken away Imphenzia's energy, so let's have a look at his energy. It is in the negatives now, but most of the time it is. Storage should be enough to keep up with the supply for a while. Maybe not too long when it's like this. But that's because he's using a lot of tanks, strikers, and the navy to defend himself. Hawk has brought some cruisers up to the coastline here to try and prevent these ground units attacking the production structures, but it has failed already. He's only got one left and it's heavily damaged, and the strikers can now reach this energy well. And with the airstrip being so close, I suspect it can hit this one too. Imphenzia's line here has just fed them into a trap where they're being fired at both angles. And they are not going to last much longer in that situation. Imphenzia now knows he can push back, because Hawk has less production and now less control over the sea because he's taken out his units. He's also got another backup of strikers there, so Imphenzia could start putting out airstrips. He's also got, what, 3,500 capital left over? So at any point Imphenzia could react to anything that Hawk throws at him. At this point, if I was Imphenzia, I'd just build a nuke just for the fun of it. He's got the capital to waste. May as well risk it to nuke this area. And Hawk is finally going into air units. He's got a striker up and running. And he's going to try and hit back with those strikers maybe a bit later on because he's only got one right now, and that wouldn't be as effective to show Imphenzia that he's got those building. So is Hawk producing anything over here? No, but he has lost this island pretty much. And he's brought his units back over here instead of trying to take this island there. And other than that, it's come to a point where Imphenzia has taken over, or is very close to the original starting point of Hawk. Hawk is planning to try and push out through this gap again to see what Imphenzia is planning, so let's have a look at that. Imphenzia has tried to increase his naval production quite a bit. I think the problem with trying to do that when I said he's got tons of capital, and the reason why he didn't want to, is because he's so low on energy. You can't really keep up with the energy costs. When you got that much money, maybe you should spend, like he has, more on some power plants so that you can produce a larger navy. So although you want a huge navy force, you don't want the energy output that you're going to need to fuel it. And Imphenzia has just built this energy well. It's slowly being constructed now, but I don't think it's going to be able to hold it. That is a lot of cruisers to fight back against. Yeah, I don't think they're going to hold it back now. And I don't think it's bringing in any reinforcements. He's just going to hold this one back. He's going to protect this one. He knows that it's not going to happen. He's not going to be able to defend it, so he's just going to let it go. Though, with the amount of units he's got there, that line is a bit large. Those units are actually going to spread out a bit too much on that line, unless they can bring some more in quickly. He still has a submarine up there from the beginning of the game. I don't know if he's forgotten about it, or he's just using it to defend his energy. He's got this one there as a stealth scout. That makes sense. Still feeding some units into this island. And it looks like Hawk has tried to take it back, which I must have missed when he was doing this attack over here. But he's sending in artillery at the front, and he's got his SAMs behind, and that's to catch any of these off guard. But it looks like Imphenzia is going straight for this energy well instead. But Hawk isn't having much of a problem with his energy. He's got negative production, but with the amount of ships he's moving, that's not a surprise. So I think Hawk's doing alright with the energy side of it. I think Imphenzio's just doing that thing where he chips away at the enemy, and all these little things tally up into the big victory he's after. And those artillery are probably going to be able to hold back this land force, but Imphenzia is building on the land as well. And it looks like he is going for artillery and SAM. All of these are artillery there. He's not going for tanks, probably because of the energy requirements. Right, so Hawk is trying to take out these while he can. He's caught them off guard. They're right in the middle of the firing lines, and they're not going to last much longer. But they are being fed in some extra reinforcements through here. But with the positioning of the ships, I'd say Hawk has the advantage. So yeah, Imphenzia is going to retreat a little bit to this line here to stop that advantage and get rid of it. So that Imphenzia can then have the advantage again. And he's made his concave here, which will allow him the advantage of the firing lines. I don't know how well you can hear me with the gunfire that's going on right now, so... So Imphenzia keeps pulling back and firing back again. He's trying to disorganise the opponent, I think. Hoping to catch a few strays off guard. And Imphenzia has a lot of production on this island. And there's some strikers, so Imphenzia hasn't got any anti-air yet. But strikers do have some anti-air capabilities. Not much, but they can do something. Even if this naval fleet gets close though, Imphenzia's got helicopters to back it up. And 2,000 extra credits to do whatever he wants with. Definitely a good move placing some units on here, because as soon as he takes over the island, he'll be able to transport some units across, whether it be straight across here, which I don't suggest. He'll probably go around and sneak some in. And Hawk has noticed the energy is undefended, so he's going to try and sneak in for that. And this is the last-ditch effort for Hawk, I think. We've got a lot of stuff going on over there. He's trying to bring his units back in to try and take this island, while he tries to distract him, taking on this energy well. But Imphenzia has brought his units back into it, and is now able to defend it. I kind of feel like that was a trap he set up to make it look like it was unprotected, and draw his units towards it so he can trap them like this. But I think he's defended it. Imphenzia kept that energy well. Hawk is pulling back his units, build them up for a second assault, whereas Imphenzia is just building a mass ton of production structures on this island. Imphenzia is refusing to let this island go. But Hawk is still bringing over some units. I think, to be fair, he might have needed some more transport ships. He's still got one ship over here he's forgotten about. And Imphenzia is tackling this energy well all the way over here with just 2 riflemen. And these strikers are holding the line. Those strikers are going to go down to these strikers, despite them not being anti-aircraft. They do have that machine gun at the front of the jet that actually does shoot down the aircraft. And we have reached the end of the match. I believe that Hawk must have exited the game. Unfortunately, I can't show you the stats because this is a replay, and replays don't do that yet. But hopefully Imphenzia and the other developer, I can't remember his name, I can't pronounce it, we'll probably bring that in at some point. And thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I'll see you around.